Lead us. All right. Good Friday morning, Prime. How's everybody doing this morning? Woo! I know it's the new year, January 6th, 2023. Welcome, everybody. The first meeting of this year, John.
Good morning.
And guess what? You and I get to start it.
Outstanding. Let's do it.
We will see Dennis here in a little bit. Dennis is here, but yeah, Dennis is, actually let you step up here with me, and I appreciate that. And that's good to have, man. It's good to have you this morning. So anyway, I want to welcome everybody here to our meeting, and we got a full-packed meeting today, John. You know what I mean? We got a lot of speakers here in a little bit. We're going to have Stephanie Ewing coming up, talk about inspections, all that good stuff. Also, yourself and Heather from Cardinal.
That's right. We're going to talk about CPAP. We're going to mix in some safety topics prior to that. So have a good meeting there. Start off with, we're going to go into Susan and Dennis after that.
Yeah. All right. A little log action. I think we're doing a test on personal conveyance on a few fleets. I think they're going to talk about that. So there'll be some good information there. And then we're going to come on down for Primed for Life. We're going to have a guest speaker here today, Drew DeLucio, and Dennis will be up here with him. And from Good Dads, I know we got a lot of drivers here involved with Good Dads, and that's who Drew's representing today, and he's here. It's great to have him. It's great to have an outside speaker too, talking a little bit about mental health, and that's this time of year usually. You tend to see some mental issues and some issues, people thinking lost their loved ones, whatever it may be, and it's a good topic to hit on. We don't talk a whole lot about that, so it's good to have that for Friday morning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're looking forward to that. Then Jason Seymour is going to come up. He's one of our operations managers for our refrigerated side. He's going to tell you guys how to make a lot of money, and then we'll finish with the hammers.
The hammers, man, the closing crew. That's Steve Woodkey and Robert Lowe, and hopefully they show up here today, and they'll be here. I'm not for sure, but if they're here, we'll get them up here as well. So if you all have questions, oh yeah, Robert's over there in line getting his food. If you haven't got your breakfast this morning, get on over to the cafeteria, Pittston, Salt Lake, you all too as well, and enjoy some food and free breakfast this morning. It's on Robert, this one is, but appreciate it. Let's give a big round of applause for all of our cafeteria staff too for the good work they do. Should we see what our terminals are doing, see if they're up and moving?
I think so. You wanted to go a specific direction this morning. Am I right on that?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Let's head out west. Let's go out to Mr. Troy Rich.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
We're doing good, Troy. How you doing?
Fantastic.
Are you still licking your wounds from this past week? Little Rose Bowl action. That's okay.
I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember. After our quarterback went out, they cheaters. They hurt our quarterback. After that, kind of went downhill a little bit, but that's okay. We'll be back.
Now, you're remembering you're talking about Penn State here when you're saying that C word. And that's pretty close to Pittston out there in Pennsylvania, so we'll be going there next. But
I feel bad about, about the way the game went down. And my prediction was a little off, but, hey, we were there. At least
that's true. And you know what? It's good to see Utah in the Rose Bowl. It gets kind of tiring seeing USC or UCLA or one of those California schools. So it's good to see a new entrant in there, and hopefully next year you guys get back to it. So
yeah, we'll get back. Yeah, they've got a good program out here. It's maybe not as good as Penn State's, but it was good.
There you go. So hey, anything going on out there in Salt Lake this week?
We're starting to ramp back up with our students. We're starting to get, a few more coming in, getting their CDLs. We've got people coming in, upgrading, getting their own trucks. That's the good part. We got people coming in and getting brand new trucks. On their upgrades, we got the leasing department doing a great job, getting drivers in trucks. So
good deal. Good to hear. If you guys have any questions, make sure you throw it back to us and we can get you on the mic.
Will do, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good week, man. All right, let's go out east to Pittston, Pennsylvania. Do we have old Rick out there?
Hey, good morning. How's everybody doing?
We are doing fine. How about yourself, Rick? Happy New Year, too.
Hey, Hey, Happy New Year's. And yeah, we're doing good out here. You know, a lot of drivers this week, not too many drivers, but we had a lot of upgrades this week. So yeah, we're doing good.
Good deal. Any comments you want to throw back to old Troy out there? I'm just opening up for you.
You know, I'm not one to talk too much smack, but you know, their quarterback spent so much time on his back. I thought he was hunting for a different occupation.
Wow. Okay. Good deal.
But hey, other than that, no. Penn State they did a fabulous job, and they went there with a good program, and they did what they wanted to do.
No doubt they're back to being Penn State again, like years and years ago with Papa Joe. So it's good to see a good program again and coming out of Big Ten. So anything going on in Pittston this week, Rick, you want to talk about?
No, like I said, you know, we had not too big of a class, but you know, we had a lot of upgrades, and we had a lot of guys that down at the pad getting their CDL licenses. Next week, we're looking at 35, 36 coming in for orientation. So yeah, we're going to ramp it back up after the holidays.
All right, good deal. If you guys have any questions or whatever, give us a holler, man, or comments, whatever. Get you on the mic, so we'll get you involved.
Hey, we are Penn State.
Okay, good deal. All right, back here in Springfield, how's everybody doing this morning? All right, that's fair, I would say. How about you, John?
I think we were stronger than the other terminals, you know, especially Salt Lake City. They're still licking their wounds, it sounds like. So.
There you go. I hear you.
Well, yeah, so welcome everybody. My name is John Harden. I'm with the safety department, and welcome to the Friday morning safety meeting. Is there anybody in here that this is their first Friday morning safety meeting that you've attended? Okay, we've got a couple. Is there anybody in here that's a new associate to Prime? First week at Prime. Why don't you guys stand up? If you're a new associate at the other terminal, stand up. Let us recognize you. Welcome you to the family. We are glad you're here. You've made a great decision. You're with a great company, so welcome. And any question that you might have, ask anybody standing around. If they don't know the answer, they will definitely find somebody that does know the answer for you. So again, a little better weather this week. No snow, no, what did they call it? The
cyclone?
The cyclone.
Or something, or whatever that storm was called. Yeah, something like that.
That was terrible. Every year before a holiday, right? So this week we're looking better. We're going to discuss some safety topics here coming up after Stephanie comes up here, but you know, we're going to talk about some winter driving tips. We got some good information for you throughout here. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to raise your hand and we'll get a mic in front of you and we will definitely answer that for you. So.
All right. Yeah, I just want to give out my welcome to all the new folks. I know we don't have a whole lot here in Springfield, but I saw a lot of yellow vests up at the other terminals, Pittston and Salt Lake. So good having you here, Prime. Welcome to our family. Remember, safety's first. This time of year, you know, winter driving is definitely in effect about everywhere you go. Even down south, you can't count out running in the winter. So be prepared. Make sure your truck's prepared. Make sure you got anti-gel and all that. Especially if you're fueling up down south, you got to have anti-gel with you. If you don't know what that is or you don't have any, make sure you get with Road Assist or driver's lineup and they'll get you stocked. There's no doubt you want to have that with you. But you want to be prepared too. So make sure you're driving safe out there. Appreciate all the new hires coming in, you know, joining a wonderful company. You know, this place is great and we like to work hard. And I know, you know, our drivers have the toughest job of anybody in this company, but also too, we like to have some fun. And we had our holiday parties this past Friday. We had ours here in Springfield. Tonight, we got one in Laredo. So Keith McCoy over here in our marketing department, he'll be going down there with a group of Prime associates as well and joining them. And we're still welcoming in the holidays, but you know, pretty sure we're gonna, you know, we're back to business, so to speak. And that, you know, that's about safe driving and being safe out there on the highways. And we want everybody being that, especially the motoring public. So, but if you ever have any questions, concerns, issues, make sure you get with your fleet manager, get with safety. You're more than welcome to call us any day of the week, time or day. We'll try to help you out the best we can. Many times questions need to be addressed towards the fleet manager, but don't leave them out. They're your business partner. They're in this together. John spent many years being a fleet manager. He can tell you that as well. So.
I did, absolutely. Your fleet managers, your number one contact here at Prime. You know, trust them, work with them. They're going to work with you. Build a great relationship. And, you know, I still talk to a lot of my drivers that I had, you know, back in 03, 04, you know, from way back when. So just a great atmosphere here. So welcome if you're new. And, you know, before we get into our speakers, we forgot to welcome our social media crowds out there listening. So if you're out there on Facebook Live or LinkedIn, so welcome. Glad to have you. Hopefully you're parked and driving and safe, or not driving and being safe. So you ready to get into these speakers?
Let's get a speaker up and let's get old Stephanie.
Okay.
Go
We're
ahead.
going to bring up Stephanie Ewing. She's in our citations department, and she's going to talk about our inspections last week, and we're going to kind of go through some of the ones that we've seen. I went through the inspections this week, went through and signed off on all of them. So what do you got for us?
Okay, inspection weeks or inspection numbers this week, we had 141 total. Of the 141, 105 were clean. So that's a 75% clean rate we had this week.
That's outstanding.
Yes. We strive for 70, so 75 we're killing it. That was amazing. We had some unusual write-ups this week. The ELD manual, how to use your ELD, paper logs, with our DOTs asking us if we have the ELD manual or if we have paper logs in case the ELD goes down. And we're getting written up for that. So get with your log advisor if you need help with getting the manual or learning how to get the logs transferred over for the DOT. Equipment violations still, we're getting lights, air leaks, oil leaks, hub leaks out of the oil coming out of the hubs. We're getting written up a lot for that. Fire extinguishers, we have to have a charged fire extinguisher on the truck, and it also has to be latched in under the bunk there or by the driver door, wherever the latch is. They're writing us up for not having a secured fire extinguisher. So they're literally asking you guys if you have a fire extinguisher and if it's secured. And then scanning all paperwork in. Your tickets, your clean inspections, on home time, in the big truck, scan them into us. And that way, if it is a ticket, we can help you with a home time ticket. We are more than happy to help you guys out with that. But we've been getting tickets a lot recently that are due the following day. So we really, really need you guys to scan them in a timely manner. You don't have to scan them in the minute that you receive them, but within the next couple of days, or maybe when you deliver that trip, scan them into us, okay? Because we really need your guys' assistance on that. We're trying to get them into the courts in a timely manner. In some states, we have to sign a plea. In like Pennsylvania, for instance, the plea is due within 10 days of receiving the citation. So we really, really need you guys to scan them in a timely manner, okay? And then using your app for your permits. We're getting written up still for not having trailer registration, not being able to prove registration, not being able to prove we have insurance. And we're still getting a couple citations, but more a write-up on your inspection or your examination report. And we can prove it. And, you know, actually, I was talking to my husband about this last night, and he goes, take a screenshot. Get on your app, take a screenshot of your registration, so then you know where it's at all times. It's on your phone. And that's a really, really good idea. Take a screenshot so then you know how to get it to it really quick when the officer asks for it, because he's going to ask for it. That's the 3 questions that they ask all the time: license, insurance, proof of registration. So make sure that you have that and you know how to get to it easily. And then last but not least, our location. Sarah and I work next to the safety department. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You guys are more than welcome to call us, stop by, say hello. We work in the Z building over there. So call us, stop by, say hello, QC message, email, fax, whatever you guys want. You guys are more than welcome to give us a shout if you need any kind of assistance with anything, okay?
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Does anybody have any questions while she's up here? Any questions at the other terminals? Okay, well, they're letting you off easy. So a lot of great information there. You know, and as she mentioned, we really, if you get a citation or a DOT inspection, you know, scan that in immediately, because we need to know about it. We need to get it in front of the Stephanie there and get it taken care of and handled. So we don't want to wait. We don't want anything to happen to your CDL especially. So very important to take care of that information.
And she talked about too, the hub seals leaking and all this, you know, make sure you are staying on top of your equipment when you're out there, because the last thing you want to do is break down when it's cold like this out there on the side of the road. You don't want to be involved in that. Bill, I think we got a question over here, but make sure you are doing pre-trips, you're following up, because you don't want to break down, no doubt. What was that, Bill?
Clean inspections, $100.
Clean inspections, $100. That's right. Lease operators, owner ops, 25 for company drivers. So if you think about it, John, you know, the fire extinguisher not being secured, that's kind of low hanging fruit. That driver didn't get this clean inspection money, you know, and we'd had that, we'd had another, you know, the higher percent would went up.
It is, it's free money.
Yep, it's free money, basically, just doing your job. And sometimes it just may be a level 3. They just look at your hours of service and that's it. They don't inspect. Hey, whatever level it is, if it's clean, no violations, it's $100 or 25 for company drivers. So what do you got next there, Johnny?
All right. So next, Heather from Cardinal is going to come up here and myself, and we're going to talk about CPAP and
All
CPAP
right.
compliance.
Welcome.
Good morning. Happy Friday. First Friday of the new year. So you're gonna let me take over?
You're going to
Okay.
take over at first, and then we're going to get into some questions, and then we're going to do a little audience participation maybe. So
Okay. Well, it's the first of the year, so I want to remind everybody how important compliance is with your CPAP and some things that you can do to improve your compliance. The first of the year is always a good time to take stock of your replacement items and your equipment. Check your mask, check your tubing, check your filters. If you need any of those things, give us a call. We want to make sure that we get those shipped out to you, or we have them ready for you for pickup, or you can just walk in and take care of that. Salt Lake City has all of the same replacement items that we have as well. So that's a big thing. It makes a huge difference on comfort and compliance. You can have leaks that you're, you know, in your mask and your tubing that you haven't realized that you have if you've had them for quite a while. So that's a big thing. So, and like I said, first of the year is the perfect time to take stock of all that and just make sure that you're ready to go and, you know, you're taking the best care of your equipment and yourself that you can. Another thing I really want to touch on, because I know that compliance is going to be kind of our focus today as far as John and I's talk, but resident users. So I know that we kind of are harping on you, but I just want to make sure if you don't know what type of device that you're on, if you were dispensed equipment after January the 1st through us here or in Salt Lake City, you are on a resident device. So you're the ones that we want to make sure that if you do not know how to upload that device, please give us a call and we'll go through it again. I know that we have in the beginning, but there's a lot of information, so we can walk you through that again. If you've got the update, the software update on your device, they are working fantastic with the software update, most of them. So I just want to make sure that you know which device you're on and what you can do. You're also on the device that has the dated photos on it that you could send, and also an R code for the 7 days. Mondays are the big day. So I have a lot of emails that I get sometimes on Fridays and over the weekend, but by Monday that data is not up to date. So it's really important that if you are sending information, that you send it on Mondays. I will give you a tip on the resident devices. If you upload every day, they start to connect a lot quicker. They start to work a lot better. I know that attempting to do that every day, even if you're kind of having some failing issues right now, just continue to attempt that, you know, that upload every day, because once it does start to do that, it seems like they're working better with that. So Mondays, though, are the big day to be sending the items by email, the R codes or the pictures. So
real quick on that before you go on. So if you're a CPAP user, we've got three types out there mainly. We've got ResVent, which Heather's talking about, ResMed, and Philips. So the difference between the ResVent compared to the ResMed and the Philips is the Philips and ResMed will connect to your phone and they'll work off your phone data, correct?
they connect to cell phone towers.
Cell phone
Yes.
tower, sorry. And
Yes,
then the
that's okay.
ResVent, you have to hook to Wi-Fi connection.
Correct.
So you actually have to you have to turn the dial to
Turn the
Wi-Fi.
dial to Wi-Fi and click search, and then it will search for the nearest Wi-Fi. If you have a hotspot on your phone, if you have a mobile hotspot in the truck, or any Wi-Fi that is available. It will pull that up.
Okay, so just by a show of hands, is there anybody in here that's on a res vent machine? Because I have a question for you, or anybody in the other terminals that's on a res vent machine? Not a person. Okay, well, I'm going to ask the question, and maybe Mitch can get some feedback through social media here, but from our point of view, what could we do to maybe help you remind yourself to send in that data every Monday? Because this is very critical, very important that we get this data in, because we have to be above 70% compliance for 7 days in order to be dispatched. So this is a critical part of your job function. We have to do it every week. We have to get that information in here. We have to get this information out to your fleet managers. So if anybody has any ideas or any suggestions, something that you do to help you remember every week, please send that in, and we would love to take a look at that.
One more thing I wanted to make sure, I know that we've talked about the R code on the resident devices before. If you are sending in an R code, which is at the bottom of the 7-day screen, make sure that you send the 7-day screen. There's also a 14-day screen. There's dated pictures. Send us that 7-day screen. That's the big one. Are we going to go ahead and talk about the 30-day too?
Yeah, so
Okay.
so we're talking about the 7-day and the compliance for being able to be dispatched, but whenever you go in to get your DOT physical, you do need to be compliant for 30 days for that. So we're tracking both. So go ahead, if you're on this machine, go ahead and send the 7-day and the 30-day into us because we do need that information. And it's good for you to have as well for your health, for your own knowledge. So please go ahead and send in both of those R codes if you're on the resident machine.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just two little pictures, one of each, and attach them to the same email and send them in. The email that you want to send them to is charts@cardinalsleep.net. So it's CHARTS@cardinalsleep, all one word, .net.
That's right. Well, does anybody have any questions for Heather while she's up here?
No questions?
None again.
That was easy.
I know. Shy today. All right. Well, thank you very much, Heather.
Thank you.
Man, John, that's 2 for 2 on no questions.
I bet they're saving them all for
No
Dennis and
questions
Susan.
Friday. So, yeah. So, hey, let's real quick before we jump over to logs, let's talk about those accidents we've had. We had 4 accidents this past week, a couple jackknives, a couple run off the roads. Wanted to bring up what we saw here in safety as far as a critical event. Richard, could you pull that up, or Brianne? So this was an accident that occurred up in Wisconsin. Driver was going along, slushy roads, wet roads, temperatures were in the low 30s. And you can tell if you look at that red line coming down, that's the critical event line coming down. 300 seconds to the left leading up to the critical event, and then 120 seconds to the right of the red line is after the critical event. And you can see the driver's going along here, and the little dips in the line, that's telling us that the driver's losing traction with his drive wheels. So you lose a little bit of traction, gets it back, lose a little bit of traction, gets it back. Well, eventually he gets to that red line and he jackknifes, goes into the ditch. Luckily, he wasn't hurt. Luckily, nobody else involved, because when you have a jackknife, you lose control, you're rolling the dice. You don't know what's going to happen for sure. But we weren't involved with anybody else. Driver wasn't hurt. That's the biggest thing right there. But you can tell, you need to be thinking when you're out there driving this time of year, especially up north, the northern states. If that low 30s temperature, along with slushy roads, you can't be running the cruise control. Shouldn't be running the Jake brakes neither, because this is what it can lead to. And driver said, hey, all of a sudden, I'm going off in the ditch. I didn't know what happened. Well, running in the low 60s, you're just going too fast. Plus using the cruise control.
Right.
So,
sorry, I didn't mean to jump in.
No, jump in, ma'am.
Didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah. So we'll get a call, or we get on the phone with the driver, and we see this, and we go on, and we look at webcams, and we look at the road conditions, and slushy or wet or whatever the case may be, partially snow covered. And, we'll hear, I don't know what happened. It must have been black ice. And that's not an excuse, right? I mean, if we're out there, we know what the temperature is with today's technology. You can look ahead, you can plan out your route, where you're going, have an idea of what you might run into. If you're running at night where the temperatures drop, Snow melts during the day. The roads are going to be wet. They're going to refreeze. Bridges, overpasses, low spots. So, having an accident like this is just completely preventable in our eyes. And, it's not being safe. And that's what we're up here for. We want you to be safe. We want everyone around you to be safe. So can you go to that next slide?
Yeah, pull up the next slide if you would, bring in, please. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yep. And you can see this one here. Same situation again. This one was in Utah, this accident. The same situation, loses a little bit of traction right before the critical event, and then it goes downhill from there. So like John said, weather is not the issue, or weather, we can't blame weather for the accident. Weather didn't cause it. It's us out there operating is what caused it, or the actions of the driver. And we don't mean to be critical and cynical on our driver, because I know you guys have the toughest job in the world. All of our drivers do out there dealing with snow and weather and wind, whatever it may be, ice, wet roads. But staying off that cruise will help you, and just stay away from using it. Cruise control, Jake brakes. What happens is when you got cruise on, your drive tires are continually spinning. They're continually moving the truck down the road. It doesn't know if it's wet or dry or what it is. And if it loses traction, it's going to continue to spin. And when you lose traction, all of a sudden that spinning wheel wants to lead. It wants to kick out. It wants to be first now. And that's what happens in a jackknife situation. Luckily, the ones we had this week, John, nobody was involved. Like I said, nobody was hurt. Equipment will be able to be fixed. There's no totaled out truck or trailer, thank goodness. But, we're this close of having a major accident. We don't want to have that. And we want you all safe out there. If you can learn from this, definitely learn. That's what we want you to do. Some of you are sitting back probably in your chairs going, I already know this. And that's great if you do. But some of our new folks, if you don't, listen up, stay off this cruise, stay off that Jake brake. Your lives can depend on it. Same thing as the motoring public. And we don't want to be involved with anybody out there on the highways as far as accidents go. So.
Absolutely. It all goes back to you're the captain of your ship. Your fleet manager's not out there. The customer's not out there. They don't know what the road conditions are. If you don't feel safe, if you don't think that it's safe to continue on, communicate back to your fleet manager. They'll let the sales coordinators know, and we'll contact the customer. And I don't think we have a customer out there that isn't concerned about your safety. So they came in here and they've talked at these meetings and they appreciate what you do. So always think safety first out there.
No, and many times when we have an accident like this, first thing the customer will say is your driver okay? And that's great to see that, because they care just as much as we do about what you all do out there. And we know you got the tough job. But, making those decisions, if you're not comfortable and you go, these roads are getting crazy, man. And especially sometimes it's just other vehicles, the way they're driving, and they can get involved with you. So sometimes you better just say, hey, I'm going to pull over, get off to the next exit, take a little break, maybe get a couple hours nap, get a hold of your fleet manager, let them know what's going on, communicate, and we'll go from there. We'll get that load delivered, but we just need to deliver it safely out there. So any questions or comments about this?
Nope, you got one right here.
All right.
I was just wondering if it'd be a good idea to buy a dash cam for the truck. If you're in, just in case you're in an accident, to kind of protect the driver.
That's a great question. And sure, if you want to get one, absolutely, because it can protect you from your word against a claimant vehicle's word. If you've got it on camera and you can show the video, then that could protect you. Absolutely.
Anybody else? All right, we got a gentleman to my left here. Go ahead, John, say it.
I mean, this is the longest that Dennis has not had a microphone in his hand on a Friday morning, and you can see him coming this way. So we better.
I think we're going to get tackled if we don't give it up here.
I think so. All right, so we're going to bring Dennis up right here. He's our director of safety, and Dennis is going to talk with Susan in our log department.
Hey, good morning, John and Dave. Thank you so much for that graceful transition. Let's be honest. I do like to have the microphone in my hand. I like to get in front of the drivers. I never like working from home. I want to be right here in the mix with you folks. So good morning. Happy New Year. Great to see everybody here. Great to see all of our folks at our remote terminals. And of course, I was just on my phone here on the side. Great to see all the folks listening in and watching in on all of our social media platforms. So, we're going to go hot and heavy this year. I was reading some Facebook comments and said, hey, I think something's going to be going on with CPAP and logs here with Prime. And, you guys are really intuitive, as soon as most folks do, you take the beginning of the year to kind of reflect and strategize about what you want to do with, anything big and new with your life. But we also do that as a company and more specifically as a department. And we've really looked at two issues that we want to just tackle head on. We're not going to be shy about it. We're going to be pretty transparent. And those are CPAP and personal conveyance, but, in a broader perspective, logs. So, you'll see a lot more of Heather from Cardinal and John's kind of really taking over that in that area. And he's going to be talking with you just about every week, sending out fleet messages, emails to the fleet managers and getting that information across. And, I've got my new best friend here with me, Susan Byrne, in our log department. She's probably, every time she sees my name on the caller ID, it's one of those exasperated sighs. So I'm always calling and asking questions and getting clarification. But, she's going to give us a few little housekeeping deals, and then we're going to go right at it and talk about a new PC test we're going to do.
Sure. First thing I want to mention, though, is the user manual for the ELD. It's located right on the display screen on the second page of applications. That's where you'll find the user manual. So there's no reason to be getting written up for that at all. And Brianne has also added it to the Prime app under documents. I just verified on Sean's phone that it's there. So 2 places to locate that. Don't get written up for it.
All right.
All right.
Any other housekeeping before we go right in?
That's the only housekeeping I had.
All right, excellent. So let's jump right in. So, we put out some information to the Driver Advisory Board, and of course it gets out to other outlets on social media. We've got 3 fleets, Josh Moore, Maurice Anna, and Matt Roman, that we're going to run a 30-day test on. And that test involves PC, which is short for personal conveyance. For you seasoned guys, the old off-duty driving from back in the day, it's personal conveyance now. And, our goal is to provide you as much added coverage as you can have when you get pulled over to do an inspection or pulled over at an inspection station, that, either that PC that you use today or even as much as 8 days ago is not going to cost you a violation. It's not going to cost Prime a violation. It's not going to put you out of service and interrupt your ability to pick up and deliver freight. All right. So what we are going to test on those 3 fleets from January 9th to February 9th is we're going to test and do the auditing that we normally do on the back end. Now we're going to start to give you real-time coverage. So anytime a driver in one of those fleets needs to use personal conveyance, we want you to have a real-time conversation, in a perfect world with both your fleet manager and your log advisor. But in a more realistic sense, it'll probably be a lot more communication with just driver and log advisor, making sure that using PC in that particular unique situation is the right thing to do. All right. So, we've got some feedback, both some positive, some not so positive, and some kind of middle of the road. And what we intend to do is kind of see what the effect will be on the driver, what the effect will be on the fleet manager, and what the effect will be on our associates and our log department. Can we handle that type of the undertaking, even from a small sample size standpoint, so that maybe we can potentially roll that out on a broader perspective to make sure that we provide that same coverage and insurance fleet-wide. So, and I'm going to allot some time here. We're not going to dive too deep into questioning because Susan and I will be hanging around here, and we're always available to answer any questions that you might have. So are there any PC experts out there that want to shoot a question out to us, ask what's going on, what the availability will be like? Other terminals? None? Right here, this gentleman right here.
My question is not really more about the availability of PC, but the ability to handle that kind of influx of communications from the drivers. Hold times on the phones are already long right now. How are we going to handle that?
So, we have the ability to, just like, when Road Assist comes up here, they'll say the average hold time is ... We have that same ability to see what the average hold time is. And that's really kind of one of the focuses of the test, to see what effect it'll have on both drivers and our log associates. And that may mean we need to to beef up our staff. We may need to hire a person or two to handle an influx of calls. My guess is it'll probably be a little bit of an influx for the first portion of it. And just like most things, it'll start to mellow out as folks get used to this slight change. Anybody else? Man, we're getting off real easy today.
Yes, we are.
Susan said, man, they're going to beat us up bad. I'm like, no, we got a talented driver pool, and most of our folks understand how important it is to be compliant, to be safe, and have this added layer of insurance that when you click that duty status, personal conveyance, that you're doing so with the full support of Prime. It's important. So, Susan and I both will be kind of hanging out here on the side. And if you want to come and ask one of us a question one-on-one, we're available. If you think of something a little bit down the road, don't hesitate to give us a call. If I'm not available, leave me a voicemail. I promise that I will call you back. So, all right.
Okay, I just do want to say that we have had a conversation with our night coverage and they are on board. So that's probably where you might have your biggest delay because they are also covering claims and safety, but they are aware and they're on board. During the day, Monday through Friday, if your log advisor has 3 calls, they will roll over to somebody who is available. So hopefully the whole time will not be very long at all.
And for the folks that are on those 3 fleets that are going to be a part of this test, give us your feedback. Positive, not so positive. Dennis Davis, this was the worst idea I've ever heard in my life. We want to hear it, but we want to hear the rationale why along with it. We're always open to have those conversations.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot, Susan.
Thank you.
All right. John and Dave thought they were getting this microphone back from me. Not a chance. So, we're gonna shift gears just a little bit. One of the things that came out from our last driver advisory board is that we need to really emphasize mental health. Believe it or not, Prime has a program that we've been doing for a little while that we do give some resources available to help drivers that are in need. So I'm gonna ask Drew DeLazio from Good Dads to come on up. So before you dive into what you do, I noticed that you have on red, and if you look over to the side, most of our folks over there have on red too. We try to wear red on Fridays. Remember everyone deployed, and Drew, I know for a fact that you are a veteran.
I am. Yeah, I did 2 deployments on a submarine for the United States Navy. No, I was not claustrophobic. I was so tired working all the time. I didn't have time to be claustrophobic. If I had paid attention, I probably would have been. But yeah, I did 2 deployments, 2 Western Pacific deployments. And so, yeah, everyone who's out there deployed, I'm praying and thinking about my brothers and sisters out there. So, and I know you guys all are too. So. Yeah, if you are a veteran, could you please stand up and be recognized so we can give you a hand? Thank you all for your service.
Thank you so much for your service to the country. So this is Drew DeLazio. He works with Good Dads, but more specifically closer to home, he works with a program here at Prime called Prime for Life. And he's going to tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so I actually am here to talk about 2 programs today that we're so excited to be able to offer you. So I am from Good Dads, and one of the programs is Prime Good Dads. So if you are a dad, a father figure of any sort, we have resources for you, whether it's a blog, a podcast. We have a website. We have 2 websites. We have gooddads.com and primegooddads.com. And some of the information on those are different. The Prime Good Dads is more specific to drivers. But a lot of it is the same kind of techniques on how to communicate, how to be a better father, how to be more involved. And really what we would love from you is feedback. I write blog posts, I do podcasts, but I'm not a driver. I do talk to drivers a lot, but I would love to get your feedback. So if you are interested in being on a podcast, if you're interested in talking about how you stay connected to your family while you're on the road, I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to, I don't need you to write anything. I can write that for you. If you want to write, I'm more than open to that. I'd love to not have to write all the blog posts, but I know some people aren't comfortable with that. I just want to have that conversation. So that is one of the programs we offer. The other one is open to anyone, and it's called Prime for Life. Prime for Life is a counseling service open to drivers, open to spouses, and then also open to in-house. We are a third party, so we are not connected to Prime other than by partnership. So we're not paid by Prime, we're paid by you. The only thing that Prime gets is your driver code if you decide to use the free 30-minute appointment that Prime provides. It's a 30-minute just kind of info session to talk about what we could do, what we could help you with. If you don't want to do that, if you don't want to give your driver code, then Prime doesn't know anything other than, yep, we talked to drivers. We talked to maybe this many drivers this month. That's it. They don't get any of your information. With that, I am a licensed professional. So there are a couple things I do have to report in general. So that would be suicide or homicide. And anyone that's state or licensed by the country has to do that. So that's just something that goes across the board. Other than that, if you told me you rob a bank, that stays with me. They may be coming to look for you, so they may come to me, and I'll just say I have no idea. So what do we offer? Well, it's really a conversation. Counseling sometimes gets a negative look of, I'm going to lay on a couch. I'm going to talk about all the things that happened when I was a child. That could be what we do. Most of the time, it's just a conversation. I'll give you an example. Communication. I think everyone can work on better communication with the spouse, better communication with your fleet manager, better communication with other drivers. I think that's something that we could all benefit from. And that's what counseling could be. Hey, how could you have handled that situation better? How could you have been more productive? How can we take that situation next time and make it so that you can handle yourself better? You can be more productive. You can make more money. You can make better friendships. It really is designed to help you be better as a human being, as a driver, as a family person, whatever it is you're looking for. So that's mostly what counseling is. Do we do specific types of counseling? Yes, we can. And if you're interested in that, if you have more questions about that, we do. I come from a family perspective of counseling. So I very much think that patterns and how we were raised does have a lot to do with how we make decisions moving forward. But again, that's a conversation that we can have down the road. If you just are interested at all, please feel free to email me, drew@gooddads.com. I'm on the driver health and fitness page as well. And then Prime Good Dads as well has all our contact information. And we're going to do some videos and stuff just to get more information about our program out there. But the best opportunity is word of mouth. If you hear anybody asking like, hey, is there anyone I could talk to? And you remember this conversation, point them my way. I think that's really, I'm open for questions. If anyone has any questions, if Dennis has any specific questions.
Anybody has any questions for Drew? All right. So wait, we got one right there in the back. Come on, Keith. Let's get it going. Come on.
So I just wanted to tell you, Drew, I really appreciate you. I'm Dee Sova, and last year I lost my husband. Most of you know that. Clayton informed me about the Good Dads program, and I finally went in, and Drew is my counselor, and he's freaking awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
I think one of the most important things when we talk about mental health is, we don't have to wait till we have an issue to go in, same as we do with any healthcare professional. We don't wait. We're not supposed to wait till we have an issue to go to the dentist. We're not supposed to, especially folks with vision issues, we're supposed to get checked up,
Yes.
at least on an annual basis. I don't think that's any different when it comes from a mental health standpoint.
Not at all.
So especially if there's, as in Dee's case, loss of a loved one, some type of transition in life.
Yeah.
Maybe, you're becoming an empty nester for the first time, a number of these different life-changing situations where it's okay to get a little bit of a tune-up from time to time.
So one of the things I do is I specialize in couples counseling. And one of the things I like to say is if you can come in before there's a major issue, it's a lot easier to save a marriage than if you come in after she tells you she's leaving you or he tells you he's leaving you. If that's when you come in, sure, I have seen some couples who can save their marriage. It is a lot easier if you come in 6 months earlier and just say, hey, we hate each other. I can work with that. But as soon as someone decides to leave, it's a lot harder to save that. It's the same like if you go into a doctor with pneumonia. it's a lot harder to handle it if you go in 3 weeks after you got pneumonia than if you go in right when you got it. So.
Excellent. So let's give Drew a round of applause.
Thank you all.
You know, hopefully, Drew, you can hang out for a few minutes after the meeting just in case anybody has any questions. And, you know, hopefully we can get Drew to come and speak at the meeting, if not once a month, you know, definitely once a quarter to come in and share information. So, hey, one of my favorite speakers is coming up next. It's going to be Jason Seymour. You know, my opinion, and you know, I'm pretty strong with my opinions. You know, working here at Prime is a destination job. Okay, some folks are able to start here and earn their CDL here and be here as long as they want, but there's some folks out there that are looking and have been looking to get into this company for a long time. They go to some smaller carriers and do their due diligence. They'll get their CDL someplace else, but they'll work really hard on their safety record, on their employment history, just for the opportunity to get here. This is a destination job. And Jason's going to give you some information and tell you why it's a destination job, because it could potentially change your life. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, man. That was a nice introduction, Dennis. Thank you. I didn't know I was your favorite. That makes me feel good. So, yeah, Dennis is right on with everything he said. This is a destination job. And a big reason why we do that is you guys. All right. You know, when you think about it, I mean, I'm probably biased, but we have the best drivers, the best equipment, the best support staff, the best leadership, the best facilities. It's kind of hard, you know, it's not bragging if it's true, right? And the job that you folks do every day is what has turned this company into a destination job, and really a destination company when it comes to what our customers are really seeking when it comes to what they're looking for in servicing, you know, their loads and their customers that we deliver to every day. So I'm going to number dump on you here just a little bit. It's January. I know we're through all that Christmas stuff, but to me, January has always been a time to kind of reflect on what 2022 was, the good stuff and the bad stuff, and maybe think about setting some goals for what 2023 is going to be. All right. So, and I'm talking now about reefer lease division. That's where I spend pretty much all of my time, most of it. You know, if you have questions about tanker or company or, you know, flatbed or some of those things, you can speak to Jim and Brett and some of the folks that work with those divisions. But so again, this is this reefer lease division. So 52 weeks ending 12/30. All right. Our average solo earnings for 2022 was $1,734 a week. Average profit per solo for each solo operator was a little over $1,700 a week. For our teams, the same 52-week period ending 12/30/22, that number was $3,679 a year. So you can see, I mean, we've worked really hard to get those earnings up, and that is really what Dennis is talking about when we talk about this being a destination job. There's not many places you can go, and you can start with day one. I don't see a whole lot of yellow vests in here. But that was the thing when we had these big PSD classes, they come in here. Every one of those folks has an opportunity to earn over $100,000 in the first 52 weeks that they're here. There's not many places you can go and do that. And honestly, here, I don't want to say it's easy because it's backbreaking work and sacrifice and all those things, but the blueprint is set. That's what we've worked for. That's what we've built with our customers. That's the network that we've built. You know, the blueprint is there for anybody in this room that didn't make $100,000 plus in 2022, that you can do it this year. All right. And now's the time when you want to start thinking about it. Set some goals on availability percentage. Set some goals on what you want your revenue per week or earnings per week. How many of you know what your net fuel cost is? Just a quick show of hands. How many know what your 8-week net fuel cost is? A few. That's great. Every single one of you that leases a truck should know what that number is and should track it every single week. Okay. Because that's what allows us to achieve these numbers. And I'm getting ready to read to you right now that allows people to make over $100,000 a year. So somebody that's coming in, let's say I'm like, man, 2023, fresh start. I want to learn to drive a truck. And I come in here and I want to go through the PSD program. First, it's going to be pretty competitive to get in here, to Dennis's point, right? I mean, we don't just take anybody. We really take the best of the best. So hopefully I make the cut and I could come in and learn to drive a truck. But for that first 4 weeks while I'm getting my CDL, my earnings were zero, right? I'm an unpaid apprentice. I get that one-on-one training and instruction during the pre-trip, the backing and the driving, so that I can hopefully come in and in 4 weeks or so I think average is about 21 days. We're just going to call it 4 weeks. I can come in and I can pass that CDL test. I can get that CDL, and at that point, I'm officially hired by Prime. Now, our training period, all right, our training period right now is at 50,000 miles. And, most of the time it takes somewhere from the time I get my CDL to the time I get my truck, it's about 15 weeks or so. By the time I run my miles, I get through the upgrade process, I get added to the truck availability list. Some of you may be on that now waiting for your spot to come in and get a truck. It's about a 15-week period of time. So during that 15 weeks, assuming that I'm available and I'm available for work every day, then I'm going to make $900 a week, which is $11,700. So now I've started to earn some money. All right. So I've upgraded and I get my own truck, and I'm going to lease a truck in the reefer division. And we just said average earnings for the last 52 weeks was $1,734. All right. And that number, I will add our number for 2021 for the 52 weeks of 2021. It was $1,578. So we're up about $156 a week year over year. All right. I just want to be clear. The $1,734 a week, is it higher than last year? Yeah, it's up, like I said, $156. But if you go back to 2020 and 2019 and 2018, these earnings are real. This isn't like a 1 year, we had a really great year. Our earnings have been steadily growing each and every year. And even though the first few months of this year might be a little rougher than what we've experienced in the last several years, there's nothing in my mind that changes my mind to think that when we look at the year-end numbers for 2023, there's going to be another increase, right? That's the way this company is built. That's what we strive for. That's what we protect. That's what we work with our customers for. So anyway, back to $1,734 a week. So most people, when they get a truck, they can start training at 6 months, but it's realistic. Most people want to take a little bit of time, get used to operating on their own, get used to kind of how things work with their fleet managers. So let's say you run the next quarter, the next 13 weeks as a solo, and your average profit, you're an average driver, average net fuel cost, average availability, average miles, average revenue per mile, average profit of $1,734 a week. That's another $22,542 in your bank account. So at that point, you're like, all right, I think I've got it. I'm ready to train somebody. So I come in and I take the trainer class, and you run the last 20 weeks of the year to get us to the 52 weeks. Our average profit there is at $36.79. So that puts another $73,580 in your bank account. So if you add up what you earned during the training, right? You add up what you earned while you were out there running as a solo, kind of getting your legs underneath you, so to speak, and you add the money in for while you were training and out there running team and our team network, it comes out to a little over $107,000 a year. All right. Which in my view is pretty amazing that somebody can come here with zero, right? You can come here with a permit and a dream, and in the first 52 weeks, you can make over $100,000. That's something we worked very hard to build. It's out there. It's available for every one of you. Your fleet managers can help you achieve those goals. I can help you achieve those goals. Really, everybody in this building is incentivized to help you achieve those goals. All right. You just got to grab them. You got to think about where you want to be at the end of 2023 and then put a plan in place to achieve those goals. And if you haven't done that, now's the time. It's the perfect time because you can look at last year. We spent a lot of time looking at 2022 year-end operating statements and compare them versus 2021 and, kind of set goals for 2023. Start with the end in mind and put a plan in place and let's make it happen. Let's have a great year. Any questions?
All right, let's give Jason a round of applause. He says something pretty profound. It's not easy, but the blueprint is there. Just think if we had that in other facets of our life, and retirement savings and parenting and marriage. The blueprint is there, Jason, but it's not easy. So thank you a lot for that information. Just a few housekeeping notes before we get to our last couple folks. I want to make sure that we mentioned that our Million Mile Dinner is coming up on Monday, January 23rd. You should have already gotten your invite if you are eligible to come. We really would love to see you folks here again. That'll be Monday, January 23rd, 2023. All right. Also, the 2 and Plus Million Mile Dinner a month later, February 13th, 2023. So If you haven't gotten an invitation yet, if we missed you, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'll make sure we get you added to the list and get your RSVP calculated. So, we had a fantastic meeting. They beat me up and wouldn't give me the mic for the first portion of the meeting, but of course I persevered and commandeered. But, I'm excited to what's going to happen next week. So, folks that went home for the holidays, we hope you had a fantastic time with your family. You got a little bit of time to, put on some pounds with some good food, recharge and relax, and hopefully that you're out now ready to run some freight. But I got a question for those folks that stayed out. Who stayed out during the holidays this year? We got a bunch of hands in the room. I can't see any folks at the other terminals, but we got a bunch of hands in the room. And next week is the big week. What's going on next week? Next Friday? The raffle. If you take a look out in the shuttle stop, and I'm gonna ask Jim Guthrie to come on up. There's 3 fabulous looking pickup trucks parked out there that are going to be given. The keys are going to be given to 3 lucky prime drivers next week. And this is Jim Guthrie, our Director of Reefer Operations, is going to talk with us a little bit about the exciting things that are going to be happening next week.
Okay, Dennis, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, we're real excited for next week. First off, though, I want to talk about the last, I'd say, 10, 12 days. We had the bomb cyclone, as it's called, the big weather event that swept across the country, disrupted things everywhere. And then we had, really 3, maybe even 4 days in some cases with some people worth of 3 days or 4 days worth of holidays back to back from that weather event. And, that created a tremendous disruption throughout the entire supply chain in the country, had a big impact on us, obviously, as everybody, around the country is trying to celebrate the holidays. They're going to buy things at the store. They want those shelves to be stocked with all the different holiday foods and trimmings that they're going to use, during that time. So, I want to express a sincere thanks and appreciation to everybody at Prime who stepped up. And I know some of you stepped up and ran a couple extra loads, even though you probably got delayed throughout the country with weather and shipper and receiver delays. I just want to express to you that our customers are extremely appreciative. We've gotten tremendous feedback all week, thanking all of you for stepping up. I've been in this business about 25 years. I've never seen anything that impactful. It was certainly unprecedented event with that tremendous weather and combined with the holidays. So thank you for all that. That's the first thing. Secondly, yes, we are excited about this raffle next week. We're working on getting everything ready. We're going to have a big raffle tub up here. We're going to do some drawings, and it's going to be exciting. Maybe even a couple surprises, that we'll have as well. So we're excited about that. That's going to be next Friday, and you don't have to be here to win. So if you're out running, you don't have to be present to win, obviously. So like I said, we'll have some fun with it, and we appreciate everybody pitching in and helping during that time period. So we're gonna finalize that and celebrate it next Friday. Anybody have questions on that I can answer? Sir.
My question is my truck was in the shop for like 6 days. And when I look on the Prime app, it shows that it's not earned, but I've talked to my fleet manager about that, and he says that I'm entered in for those days when my truck was in the shop too.
Okay, so if you were out working and your truck broke down and you were in the shop, you would qualify for those days. So we'll get with your fleet manager and make sure that you get entered for those days. So that would qualify, correct?
And now the question came up earlier is, okay, so I win the truck, but what's my tax liability going to be when I have to go license this thing?
Well, I don't think that depends on the state that you live in. I think taxes are a local municipality calculation. So, but these trucks are real nice. And I think if you get a truck and your only liability is the tax bill, that's a win-win in my book, right? Okay, I want to just mention one more thing. You know, Jason talked about how this is a destination job, and you know, really, I would say even it starts as a job, a destination job, and then it expands to a career if you want it. And you know, we've got folks around here that started with one truck that have 15, 20. We've got one that started with one truck or 10 trucks that has close to 400. So, you know, the point being, there's a lot of opportunity here. We work really hard to make this a career path for everybody. There's tremendous opportunity in the future for our business. And so, you know, as you have good people out there that you know could be great drivers, you know, don't hesitate to refer people, you know, and we need everybody to train, to develop these drivers for the future. And, you know, whenever you come here with, you start with one truck, don't let that stop your dreams, because we've got opportunities for as many trucks as you want. So, you know, that's all I've got this morning. I want to say, again, thank you for all you've done this last couple of weeks and what you do every day, but particularly these last couple of weeks have been really hard. Always safety first, you know, safety first. We'll always talk to a customer, let them know whenever we have delays. Customers understand that, you know, don't take any risks. Safety first always. I'm gonna turn it over to the big man here, Robert Lowe. Started this company a few years ago, as Steve always says.
Just a few. Good morning. Good to see you all. Appreciate you very much. You know, for that driver that asked a question about the sales tax, I got a little special add on this morning. I got something good to say. We will pay the sales tax on the truck for those winners. Hey, you all been out there working hard. You made the sacrifices. You delivered the loads. You endured the bomb cyclone, whatever they call it. Man, it was just hell of a big cold storm to me. But you all did the work. So the least we can do is take care of the sales tax on the trucks. And really looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting next week. So I hope you're here. I'm going to reach in there and see. I mean, it depends on who's really nice to me that morning, you know. Now, if they're really nice, pleasant, I'm going to try to find their ticket. But I just want to, again, thank you, as others have, for what you've been doing. You know, the things that we do here really, you know, benefit you, but they benefit the company, they benefit the in-house folks, and it's very much appreciated. This Good Dads program is super. You know, retention rewards, other things that we do here. If you're not acquainted with them, need to acquaint yourself with them and make sure you participate. So, you know, the good thing about January 6th is what? It's a new year and another day closer to spring. Another day closer to spring. You know, when Valentine's Day gets here, then we know we've got it made. It'll be downhill. I appreciate what y'all do. God bless each of you, and please be safe.
Thanks, sir.